Welcome to the Trap Talks podcast, where we talk about the intersection of culture and tech. Me, I'm a big hip hop fan, originally from North Carolina, and also a techie as well. And with culture, always been ubiquitous. Right now, technology is, and I think it's important for us to have these conversations around how tech and culture impacts us, not just with tech people, but also music artists like Dez Mac, politicians, entrepreneurs, tech entrepreneurs, small business owners, right? So today I got the pleasure, we all had the pleasure of Dez Mac joining us. He hails from Youngstown. I actually met him when I actually moved to the Bay. And interesting, I didn't even know he was a rapper. He was working at the YMCA, and never knew he was a rapper. And then I heard his music. I went to an event, heard his music. He gave it to me, and at the end of the BART ride, I said, "Hey man, you got to perform at the Tech Trap House," which was an event I was throwing together. So um, yeah, he's a dope rapper. He's akin to, I would say, probably like a J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar when you think about the type of positive energy he likes to put out. Um, but yeah, let's welcome Dez here, and Dez, feel free to, I guess, give more background on yourself. I guess we can go more into the questions, but yeah, man, thanks for joining us.
Nah, for sure, man. I appreciate you having me, man. This is dope. You know what I mean? And just like you said, it's crazy just seeing you at the YMCA and all that, the whole time. Like it's just crazy to see how far you've came along, man. This is dope, man. But for everybody out there, I go by the name of Dez Mac. I'm from Youngstown, Ohio. I'm out here in the Bay Area right now. Just doing music. That's my passion. That's something that I moved here to do all the way from Ohio. So this is just I'm grateful to even be having this interview for it's dope.
Yeah, yeah, shoot, my pleasure, man. So I'll go in more in depth about it, right? So you was so I was living in the Bay Area. I was there for about 5 years, 5 6 years. Um, and I was a member of the Y. I would go there to work out or whatever, just to make sure I was in shape. And then Dez would be at the front desk. I would talk to him like, okay, cool, and never knew he rapped. And one day I went to, well, I feel like it was a Friday or something. It was an event in
Yeah.
Oakland at
Hmm.
what was the name of the place? They do
Man,
social entrepreneurship.
I do
Um,
not remember the name of that building.
yeah. Um,
It's a pretty
but
popular building though.
Yeah, yeah, two prominent. It's a Jewish couple that actually invests a lot of money into the program. Um,
Hmm.
but they create a bunch of initiatives around driving inclusion within tech, also helping socially focused companies that are tech oriented raise money and things of that sort. So he was there and he was actually passing out his music. No, you actually wasn't passing out your music. You was just passing out a little snippet of your name and then your handles, right? Because you had
Yeah,
already
it
had your
was.
music on Spotify, right?
Yeah, it was just like a little business card. Just had
Yeah,
like probably like just like my name and that like I was on all platforms, just to have
yeah,
people just possibly check it out.
yeah, yeah. So he hands me his card. I'm like, you rap? And I think I had known you for about we had known each other for what, over a year, 2 years or something, probably
Yeah.
like a year.
Yeah, and then that time I was just passing everybody cars. I didn't even realize that that was even you either. I was just literally passing out cars to, what I mean, just trying to network,
Yeah,
every way possible.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, so he gives me his card, and I had just started doing an event at the time called Tech Trap House, which was
Man,
a monthly event where we would bring out artists to perform. I would actually interview people who work in tech, who came from underrepresented backgrounds, and then we also had a paint session going on. Um, so I was
yeah.
always on the lookout for artists to perform there that felt that matched the vibe that we were trying to create. So I played it on Spotify, and I'm listening, and then by the end of my BART ride, I'm like, yo, he's performing, and he's performing at the next one, and I didn't even ask my partners. But then I told him, I'm like, look, Dez is definitely performing. I don't know who you invited already, but you just need to apologize to him. I want Dez up here.
Hey, that's crazy.
I think the song that really got me to it and I still like it is following my dream.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um
That was Dreams. I
yeah,
had one with
yeah,
that I had
yeah.
a collab. Yeah, man. It's
It
so
was a song,
crazy.
but it was by you though. You was only
Yeah.
on the track though. Yeah, yeah. That
Oh
song
yes.
right there hooked me.
It's so crazy that you did the that whole event too. Like that event was dope. You always had different features, like you would do the sip and paint, then it would be the performances, and then it might be somebody speaking about tech. Like it was always just it was the event, it brought different people there, and it was always a good vibe for real. So I had a
Yeah,
really good time. And I, and
yeah,
I really
yeah. Thank
appreciate
you.
those performances too, man. That was dope, man. Very inspiring too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I appreciate you, being a part of it, and it just wasn't me. I had four other good people helping me. Fude, to be one, Talia.
Mhm.
Um, they definitely helped and contributed. Debray as well. And yeah, it was my whole thing was let's bring different types of people from different walks of earth who normally wouldn't be in the same room together, but what type of
Yeah,
conversation could be created? Like we had people from Hunters Point, which is like the last black enclave in San Francisco. Then you had people who were more international from Japan or what have you kind of coming through and people in tech. So it's like you're hearing all these different conversations. The people from Hunters Point was coming because of the name. And then the people who weren't familiar with, I guess, trap culture were coming were like, what is this? you know.
exactly.
So yeah, yeah. So how was it like growing up in Youngstown?
Yeah, man. Youngstown is, man, it's so different from out here, man. Coming from there, it's the inner city over there. I've lived all over Youngstown as well. So I've lived in some really good parts and some really bad parts. But uh, coming from there, I feel like it's gonna make you want stuff a little more. I guess when you go somewhere else, especially because
Hmm.
like I've definitely seen rock bottom like nothing, like just like other people too, for real, like, but I'm talking lights, gas, everything just off, at times, and just not
Yeah,
having anything like at times, but always having enough though, you know what I mean? And but those are some great times too. But I'm just saying, like, just coming from there is just a whole different perspective for real, like a mindset. It's just different from now being out here. So much opportunity if you want it though.
yeah,
Where I come from, I don't feel like it's a lot of opportunity or a lot of people doing, things. It's so much talent back there though, don't get me wrong. From football players to basketball players to artists, everything, just like, probably like anywhere else. But, you know, it's like it's ranked like I think it's like one or two. It's ranked like one of the least opportunity states or cities, So
mm,
so yeah, it's just a really different place to come from to and then to come out here in the Bay, and it's like, you know, it's like, man, I'm in California. I've been here like a few years already, and it still felt like that. Like, wow, I'm in California. Like, this crazy.
hmm.
But just trying to make the best out of where I come from, as well. Like, but I do love my city though, for surely.
Yeah, yeah. So did you start rapping when you was in Youngstown, or did how did you uh, get into rapping?
Yeah, man. So when I had like I would say maybe 1 month maybe before I moved, I recorded like one of my first songs for real. And when I heard it, I just was like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm not even I thought I wanted to do music, but nah, I'm okay. So then I used to play it
What
just
happened? What happened? You didn't like the way it sounded, or you was shy about it, or something? Or?
yeah, it just sounded weird because it was like I was listening to my voice. It was like I was like,
Yeah,
man, that's what I
yeah,
sound like. So it was just real different. And I didn't know if what I was like how my cadence, I didn't know if that all even fit or anything. So I used to just play it sometime just in the car. And then like all the times that I played it for somebody, just randomly just putting it on, like after like J.Cole, somebody was like, yo, this is dope. Who is this? And then I was like, and then so then that had tripped me out. Like two different girls had said that. And then also my homie, for real though, like, I just was going to the store like one trip. It's like this girl I was with, she was like, who is this? This is nice. I like this. And I was like, and I'm like, maybe she know it's me, but then they was like, no, really, who is that? And then like, cause it sounded weird. Like that's why I was like, man, do I sound like this? And then so then from there I was like, all right, maybe they trying to. When I told them it was me, they was like, wow, this good, blah blah. So then I'm like, maybe they trying to make me feel good. I don't know. And then I had
Yeah.
moved out here, and then when I recorded a song out here, like I'm talking the quality and everything sounded better. I just recorded that in somebody's closet at their house. That was the studio, like their studio. Then I went to an
Mm.
actual studio and heard myself, and I was like, dang, this is actually like fun. It's therapeutic, but it's like always what I did and used to do playing around. It's just like now I'm like, wow, I actually like this. Um, yeah, man. And then so then I started really recording out here. But yeah, I made like one or two songs back home, and it was like literally like 30 days before I moved. Then I started
Wow.
recording up here. Yeah.
So what went into you moving here? Like what I mean, when I say here, moving to the Bay, like
Mhm.
how did that happen? What did you have a plan? Did you just say, you know what, I'm ready to leave Youngstown and go to the Bay? Like, and
Yes.
how? Yeah, walk me through that.
Yeah. So my brother Dre, him and our friend Keelan, we all from Youngstown. We all hella cool. Went to high school, and
Yeah, I met your brother. Yeah, I met your brother.
yeah. So they came out here first. I was in electrical school, so I wanted to finish school. Like I didn't even know if I would be doing any electrical, and I'm not actually. But like at the time, I was like, you know what? I just really want to finish and just be like I don't want to give up on this. Like, I'm the last of the family, but I would be the first with like a degree, it's an associate's, but it was like out, let me just finish this. So this was for electrical technology. Um, and then, then I finished that, but in the middle of that, my brother, he had asked me if I wanted to move out there. And then him and our friend Keelan, we was going. So I'm like, man, I'm in school. I gotta finish this first, man. I was like, but I'm gonna come out there soon though. I was like, but I gotta finish this first. And then they was going out for the movies at, and then to be a part of tech and stuff. So I'm like, maybe I could go and I could possibly do music out there too one of these days. So I finished school, graduated from there, and then I was doing plumbing back home. And then one day it was on a job. I was like, you know what? I'm moving. I'm moving. Then I literally looked at my coworker because we were doing a high pressure jet for a whole apartment building. So none of the plumbers could get the drain unclogged. So then we come in and then we do a high pressure jet, so hose, and it goes through all of the pipes. It's like one of our most expensive services that we had doing plumbing. And then I
Yeah.
just remember we were out there for maybe like literally like probably like 10 hours, literally just at the same house. And then I was just like, I looked at my coworker and I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm moving. And I just literally, I was like, in 30 days, I'm moving. Literally. I'm buying my ticket today. And then
And
my coworker was like,
you told your coworker that.
yeah, we was in the truck because he was stressed out. I was stressed because we was there for 10 hours. So they already had 6 different plumbers come. They couldn't get the job done. So then we had to do the high pressure jet in service. So it would just took so long. And then I was just like, you know what? I was like 30 days. I was like, I know, I think I said 28 days. I was like, from 28 days, just to be specific, I'm moving in 28 days. And then he was like, what? And I was like, I swear I'm moving. I'm moving to California. And then he was like, man, you're not moving to California. Like that sounds crazy just for anybody to say, like I'm just randomly,
Yeah.
like I'm moving. And then I just went home and I just bought my ticket, man, and I moved out here. You know, I knew like the process of what it would be like to move out here. My brother and Keelan, you know, they was already out here, you know, and it was a whole thing like with the shelter, all of that. So I was down to be like, you know, I'm gonna live in a shelter and find my way. And that's exactly what happened, man. And then landed out here in the Bay.
Wow. Wow. So yeah. So the way the way you decided with the high pressure pumping and stuff, plumbing, it reminds me of the thought process that went for me to move from North Carolina because I was there pretty much there my whole life,
Hmm.
and hadn't really planned on moving, but just got really frustrated because I felt like the opportunities weren't really coming to me, particularly in the tech sector. Um,
Hmm.
my mom was like, "Go to school." You know, I had went to UNC Chapel Hill, one of the quote unquote best universities on earth, right? So I'm
That's
like,
what's up.
yeah, I'm like, I should be able to work in tech, and I wasn't getting the opportunities that I felt like I deserved, right? It was just like, y'all do know I went to UNC, right? And I had started companies in college and stuff like that, and I just remember deciding I was the day that I knew I was going, I was working this job, right? And I basically it was like like we was like doing what you call partnership marketing or partner marketing, where Samsung, right? I was contracted under Samsung, and they would send us into the stores to educate the sales reps who were selling our devices. So we made sure that each rep fully understood the specs and how to pitch it to the clients or whatever, right? To boost sales in store. So I'm driving to the next site, and I get a call, and it's Yelp. They called me, and they're like, "Yeah, we wanna make you an offer." I'm like, "Oh, for real?" And she told me the offer, and then she's like, "And we're gonna pay you to move here too. We gonna give you this to move." I'm like, "Huh?" I got hella silent for like 5 seconds, and she was like, "Is everything okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just happy." And boom,
For real.
within probably about 3 weeks. No, I'll say probably within about 4 weeks, I was gone. I
I
was gone.
feel it.
Yeah, yeah. Because I was
Mhm.
like, if I'm gonna move to the Bay, I gotta come with a job because I already had heard it was expensive. I didn't really know
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
full totality of how expensive it was.
Same
I
here.
went I went to Whole Foods. I went to the first Whole Foods that I ever really went to. I think we had them in North Carolina, but well, actually no, I'll take that back. I had gone to Whole Foods when I was in North Carolina, but I went to a Whole Foods near the financial district,
Yeah.
right? Going
Uh,
there, and I probably had like a bag of groceries, maybe two, and it came up to be $100. And I remember
yeah.
walking out like, yo, I think I made the worst decision of my life moving here. I just felt
Man,
like
listen.
extremely sad because I was like, this joint is so expensive.
Man, listen. Same here. Like
Yeah.
my brother, he was saying like, you know, it's expensive down here, but I'm like, you know, all right. Like I'm cheap. So I'm like, yeah, I'm like, dang, all right. Like, you know, I'm gonna be probably just limited on the stuff, whatever. Man, I did not know it was expensive like this. I'm talking just the normal things that we would have been paying like probably $5 for or something out here is like 25. Like a haircut back home, I was paying 30 or no, 12 to $13 a haircut. Sometimes 10. My first haircut I got here was $30. I was like, when the barber said that, I looked and I thought it was a joke. Like I laughed at first, like like what? Like $30? Like what? Like I just paid $10 for a cut 2 weeks ago. Like 30, and I was like, wow, yeah, this is different. This is really
Yeah.
different. See, I started to grow a fro. At first, I was like, I might just get braids again or something, because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
it's
couldn't
funny.
believe
When I did see you did have a little fro, yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. But yeah, it's so expensive, man. It's crazy that it's even like that out here, you know. And a lot of jobs that they got are not. It's not even cutting it, not even close. So it's like, man, you
Hmm.
got to really be doing something out here because this stuff is expensive.
Right, right. So how did you how are you able to actually afford, living in the Bay and actually continue to follow your dream?
Yeah, man. Well, I got a job. I was working full time. I work for the bank. Um, you know, so it's like, and also me and my girl, we live together, so we go in on our rent, and then we also have roommates here. So we manage, but man, it's so expensive out here.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
crazy, man. I
yeah.
always think sometimes like I might be moving soon. I might just venture off somewhere else. Literally because it is expensive. And I would like some better weather as well. But yeah, man. If it wasn't for that, the whole we got roommates down here. That's something that's very different as well. Back home, I don't know anybody that has a roommate. That's not even like really a thing, you know, from where I come from, to be honest. So, everybody going in on the rent. So, you know, that's how.
Yeah, I had roommates too when I first moved to the Bay. I had at one point, I think, up to like four roommates, six. It was upstairs and downstairs. So it was like three
Mhm.
up top and then two downstairs. Um,
Oh,
but it's very, to survive in the Bay financially, you definitely have to have communal living, or you're making like six figures working in tech. It's like,
yeah,
either
it's
or
ridiculous,
probably
man.
both, Yeah. But
Yeah,
you I mean
it's
you
wild.
done a but you've done a real good job of building up your audience out there, like in the following. So like how did you what are some things you're doing to build up your following, and how did you get it to this point? Because I mean
Yeah, man.
you're gonna gotta look from Zaytoven, you got a shout out from Bow Wow, like walk us through how you've grown your audience, like how you leverage that opportunity.
I'm definitely, I feel like I'm still growing my audience, to be honest. But yeah, it's like even crazy to even hear you say that. It's like now, it just make me think about it. Yeah, because like with the Zaytoven and the Bow Wow thing, those both came about very similar. Basically, I reached out to um, I reached out to Zaytoven, and then Bow Wow reached out to me. But yeah, it worked out. I just for Zaytoven, I said, hey, I just introduced myself. I let him know what I was doing, and then I said, if there's any way, I could possibly get you to produce a beat. This is my budget. I'm an independent artist. I live out here. If you're able to do this, if not, cool. So we spoke for about 3 days, just back and forth in the DM, just like literally
Word.
just 3 days. And I thought that was just crazy. I'm like, I'm just over here having a conversation with Zaytoven right now. Like this is crazy. I'm like, this is
So
kind
hold
of
on, hold on.
kind of
You so
funny.
you so you slid into his DM on Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah, Instagram. I just DM'd him. Like, like sometimes like I was talking to Fat Joe. Like it just be weird sometimes. I don't know. It'd be crazy. Cause
You
I
didn't tell me about the Fat Joe.
yeah, Fat Joe. Speaking to him, we were just speaking about promo. That's all. Just trying to do some promo. I was just curious of what he could do. Um, you know, and then he reached out, he just DM'd, and he just said, I see you working. And then I was just like, hey. And I'm just like, what? And I was like, what the? I'm like, what? This is Fat Joe. Like, this is verified Fat Joe. Like, lean back. Like, I was like, this is crazy right now.
Yeah.
For me. So, but yeah, just DM, just
So
ask.
like, how do you walk us through the DM? Because you said you told you because you end up in a spam folder, right? Don't you?
I don't know. I really don't. Like I really don't know how, I try to do some marketing, like there's definitely paid advertisement, like trying to do ads to get it seen by people, like I definitely try to market myself, but I don't know. Like I really don't. I'm still
Mm,
trying to learn how to, to get better with getting my music just
yeah.
seen or put out in front of people. So
Yeah. But it seemed like with you're very real in your message. You're not trying to, and you're it's like you're valuing their time because you're like, hey, this is my rate. This is what I'm doing. I'm independent artist. It doesn't come off
Yeah,
as you begging, right?
yeah, exactly.
And
Because
I think that's a part of the intangibles of it.
yeah, definitely. And I feel like I treat all of them like they're just like how me and you were talking this, like, it is crazy in my head because I'm like, dang, this Fat Joe, like, but then it's like if we're speaking or something though, it is like I'm not gonna act crazy. Like, Kevin Durant walked right in front of me. I spoke to him last. We spoke, took a picture, stuff like that. Like, I'm not gonna, they're normal people. But it is nice to be like, wow, somebody you maybe seen on TV or growing up that is like, dang, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never begged them or like just put it in their face, like listen to this. It's the hottest stuff. It's the dopest music you're gonna ever hear. I just like if you ever get a chance, if you could just listen to a song, if you're able to, that would mean a lot, you know. And that's all. Like stuff like that. Like
Mm,
I don't, if you do, you do. I really appreciate it. But if you don't, it's fine.
yeah. Yeah. You like I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. Yeah. That's dope, man. That's dope. So what other DMs are you sliding in?
You silly. Nah, nah, you silly. But anybody for real, like some like marketing, trying to see like, a lot of people can run like really good ads, any type of promos for real, like just marketing. I feel like that's the one of the number one things, just getting it seen and heard by people. Because you never know who's gonna listen to it. Um, and that's all it takes as well, the right person to hear something, that could change your whole situation.
Right, right. Yeah. I think a lot of people, a lot of up and coming artists can learn a lot about what you've already like shared with us. Particularly around getting into the DMs and like how, I really love that. Like I you know, the thing that I've always been about is like taking our slang, like sliding DM, and only means,
Yeah.
trying to get at a lady. But, you
Uh-huh.
taking sliding in the DM for putting your music out, right? And making
Yeah.
these connections, So
Once that.
now next time you meet Fat Joe, he's gonna remember you, So he
Yeah.
listened to your music. Zaytoven did too,
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
I thought that was just like wow. I thought that was pretty dope though. It just because it's like, I just come from I just literally my raps, these are just like I'm just venting. It's just like a rhythmatic vent, like just a like a stream of consciousness that I try to just I don't know.
yeah,
It's just therapy. So when they're like, that I know that if they've even came across it, that just like, man, it just make me want to keep doing it, and go harder.
right, right. So what's your process for making music? Do you write? Are you just like a freestyler? Like what's your process?
Yeah, I would say my process is trying to just quiet my mind for whether that's like like 30 seconds to 5 minutes to just just to quiet my mind and then to just vent honestly. Just
Yeah,
vent in a rhythmatic way, and it's just what I feel is right, but at the same time, you're the creator, so it's no right, no wrong. um so it's just literally my process. I might write a little bit or just being just rapping just to myself for a little bit till I feel like I wrote down what's correct, but just small at a time, maybe one, two sentences, three sentences, like almost like bars. I mean, you know, like one, 2 bars, 3 bars. And then I might come back to it tomorrow or another later in the day, and then it all comes all together. So just
yeah,
basically never forcing it. Sometimes it
yeah,
comes faster than other days.
yeah. So where do you get your for me, as a techie and like an entrepreneur, I'm like my best ideas, right? But for you, where do you get what inspires your best lyrics? Like, is it, and now some people say they get their best ideas in the bathroom when they're in the shower, or, I know for me, I like to walk and kind of think through my ideas and stuff. Like, what's like your what's the spot you normally get a lot of these rhymes from?
I would say honestly, if I would say outside, like just like almost I want to say like just in nature, but just outside, like just on the porch or something, or just or even like by the water. That's a very key
Yeah,
place by the water. It's
yeah,
very therapeutic. You know how like people can just like go to Dolores Park or something, just chill outside like
right,
that. Just
right,
being like
right.
in an environment like that or by the water is so therapeutic. It's like your mind is quiet now on a different level. And then from there you can actually think, you can, and then it's like your thoughts. So you might just literally you're telling a story and using words, just telling it in a rhythmatic way. And then but when you by that water, I don't know, something about that to just it just calms, just grounds you almost, to just really let you just flow, just literally like a
Yeah.
flow, like of writing, literally.
Yeah, yeah. And then when you say being by the water, I remember I had a relative that passed when I was in the Bay, and my other cousins were stressing, and my cousin, me and her was talking. She's like, "So Corey, what you doing?" She's from New York, and I'm like, "I'm walking on the beach." It's like Ocean Beach. So I'm like
uh-huh.
at a point where I'm like very stressed because I lost a loved one, but I'm also like, man, I'm like I look to my left in this Pacific Ocean, you
Mhm.
know. So
Man,
go back to what you were saying. Like it's so
yeah,
um therapeutic being by the water. I'm a Pisces anyway,
definitely.
so you know,
Oh
yeah.
man, you a Pisces. Oh man.
You know, we I love swimming, so yeah,
Nah, for sure, for sure. Nah,
yeah.
man.
So I get a lot of inspiration when I see certain artists.
Hmm.
Not necessarily from the music they put out, like ideally great music, but
Hmm.
there have been some artists who I think have done a real good job of like mastering marketing, right? Um,
Hmm.
I can kind of go through some, but I would love to if you can talk about one artist who did a marketing campaign where you like, wow, I need to do something like that, and then I give you mine, and we can talk about that too. But yeah, give me one artist campaign that you really love.
I would say, wow, there are definitely some good ones. I would say though, it gotta be like either like the J.Cole or Drake, honestly.
Mm,
It gotta be some like one of theirs. For they're always, it's a lot of people's, but I would say J.Cole's, that's my favorite rapper. So like just
yeah,
always how his is, and a lot of times his is random as well, but it's always just like they always have the perfect marketing. Like they do the shoes, like he goes to play basketball professionally, then they release the shoe, then they got all how they release their merch, then how they do the concert. Like it's just so like, man, they on point, and then it's just like so top notch for real. So I would say
yeah.
Cole's. I like how they do that.
Mm. Yeah, I would say Nipsey. Nipsey did a
Mm.
he had a bunch of little mini campaigns that he put together.
Oh,
There was
definitely.
the one where he sold his album for $1,000
Oh yeah.
um per copy, right? He was more or less selling an experience, and I remember thinking like, who is Nip? Because I was actually attracted to Nipsey from his interviews, and he was very much so like tech forward, you know, pro business, you know, had a
Hmm.
chain of Malcolm X, so you know he was really about building up his community. Um, and one idea that I actually steal from him that's actually becoming more prominent now is that when he sold his merch, it came with a QR code. And
Hmm.
what he was
Oh, yeah,
doing, he
that's
had his
fire.
physical store. He had his physical store, and then his plan was to actually open up more stores, and essentially create like a Apple experience. So have multiple stores around the country, and I guess long term around the world, where he had exclusive distribution for his music. He didn't have to pay, outside entity to promote it. But when you would go to his store, you buy his merchandise, right? So
Hmm.
he understood, like Walmart's. If you look at Walmart's business model, they're not the manufacturer, but they're the wholesaler and the retailer. right?
Mm-hmm.
They own, and they have the physical retail stores. They have that whole distribution channel lined up. And what Nipsey was doing was he was uh, breeding a more loyal audience, because now you got this merch and you know it's a QR code on it, and you know you want to get exclusive drops of his music or exclusive stuff just for being a fan. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and he was going to use that to distribute his music. And I think that I don't see a lot of artists thinking that way, and like, how do I bake in my distribution of my music to where I become essentially platform, agnostic, right? You're not uh, where you're not solely relying on shows, but you're not solely relying on digital sales, right? And you're not solely
Mm-hmm.
depending on merch, but they're all a part of the same story. So now, instead of that, that one person who buys your CD, right? Maybe their customer lifetime value maybe just $8, but now since you're
Yeah.
giving them an entire experience, now you've taken that $8 up to 100 over their lifetime, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I think Nipsey really understood that. Like, one book he actually had was called that he read, called Contagious. Really suggest you read it too. It's like a really good book, but about marketing and stuff. But that's like one artist where I'm like, he totally got it. And I don't think a lot of artists fully understand that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, cool. Um, so yeah, so what is your what do you see technology taking music in the future, right? So like, just kind of, obviously, Spotify and live streams is it now, right? But a common gripe around that is that artists actually don't make that much money from streaming or
Yeah,
whatever.
not at all.
Yeah. And then you have the Square app, that Cash App, that a lot of people, small business owners, and just artists use to get paid or whatever. Um, where do you see technology and music going in the future? How do you see it staying the same, or where do you see it going in the future?
Yeah, I see it honestly. I don't know exactly how, of course, but I feel like it's gonna change to a whole nother level with the technology. Like just like how they went from like CDs to streams. Now it's like streams is gonna probably be something else now. Like I feel like it's gonna be at a different level, like a whole nother notch for real. And and it's constantly changing. So some's big definitely is on the way, I feel.
Yeah. And like I tell you all the time, like, we'd love to you to talk more about it, but using text messaging to create that one-to-one line of communication with your audience. Me and you have talked
Yeah,
about that a lot, but yeah. So I think building more of like a one-to-one relationship
yeah,
with
no,
your
I
audience,
agree.
and actually fully understanding who they are and stuff like that. I think that'd literally be key. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea, honestly. And I know a few artists that do something similar. I don't know them, but
yeah,
I know like
Ryan
they're,
Leslie is doing that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that man, that and what he did, that whole thing, man, that was crazy. Like I watched that whole
Yeah.
thing, and how he invites all of his top fans to a party that he pays the fly them out and stuff, and they listen to his music, all type of stuff, man. It's dope.
Mm, yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. He was talking about basically how I think one of you, he said he is able to sell his own tickets, right? Without having to go through Ticketmaster, right? He's
yeah,
selling them through a text message,
yep.
which is like
And that's
crazy.
yeah, he's like genius
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah. And I used to work in
Definitely.
Twilio, so it was like, those text messages, they cost a fraction of a penny to send out. It doesn't sound
Mm,
like much, obviously, when you talk about one to one. Um, but it's just like text is way more. People answer quicker than email. I mean, I read a stat that said I think 98% of people check their text within 3 seconds or something of getting it. You know,
Oh wow.
so you may not get a response back, but that person did open up your your text
he
message.
said, he said, wow, that's a crazy study. No cap. Now it
Yeah,
could be true
yeah,
sometime for real, you know. But
yeah, yeah. Tell us some stuff that you're working on now, like with
and
your music and stuff. What are some new music you got out? And yeah, tell us about it.
yeah, so right now I have out I just released two songs called one song called Stay True and one song called Paul Mitchin. So that's on all platforms. And I just also have the video to Stay True. And then I also have the video to Paul Mitchin coming out very soon. I haven't released that one yet. Um, but then also, man, I'm working on the album, man. So I'm ready. I'm putting together a project, just a nice little project that people can really vibe out to, and the goal is it's no skips from front to back. Just some whether it's like 7, 8 songs, even possibly possibly even not. I don't know, but just somewhere just in a nice realm that I just put together. So many, just a good amount of songs. That somebody could just put on and listen to it from the beginning song to the end song and not even skip it. So
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
that's dope,
yeah,
man. Um, and that just hit me. I was just thinking about Stunner Man, right? And Gunna, you familiar with them, right?
yeah. He just literally DM'd me.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know him.
So
Yeah, he just literally DM'd me. Literally, that's crazy.
who Gunna?
Nah, stunning man.
Stunner, Stunner Man.
Yeah,
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 yeah. I know Gunna quite well. Me and him had a conversation too. I'm getting him. My goal is to get him on the podcast. But one thing to go back to my question earlier around where music and tech is going. I remember when he first kicked off the big step and dance.
hmm
And I was like, that's
yeah,
crazy. I'm like, let me see if this
yeah.
is it, and then now it's starting to catch fire.
Oh
He
yeah,
got
it's
Gunna
viral
in
for
there.
sure right now. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's for
yeah.
sure viral. People
And it
definitely
seems
messing with
like
that.
yeah, and it seems like that's the move now where you have a song. I don't think you force it, but then you have some type of dance to incorporate it
Yeah,
that you can put into a 6 second TikTok clip.
yeah,
Because
definitely.
he literally just won one TikTok superstar, whatever you call him, influencer away from like selling like a half a million, if not a million streams. Honestly, um,
Who first time man for them?
yeah, I think so. I
Oh, I
mean,
didn't know that.
because
That's
I'm
dope.
yeah, yeah, because I'm
Oh,
seeing
that's what's
I'm
up.
seeing a lot of people. I've seen women do the dance. Once women
Oh,
do
I've
it,
seen that. I've
they,
seen everybody
yeah,
do the dance, literally. No, it's really like
yeah.
he's doing a really good job on like his marketing, like how he's like he I think like every time I turn on my Instagram, I swear it pops up. And I think the last
Oh
time I
yeah,
seen
mine
it, it
too.
said yeah, last time I seen it, it said like day 45. So it's like he's even putting together like each day he's doing like a challenge and he's just having everybody do it everywhere he's going. So like yeah, I just seen he on his tour now as well. So
Yeah,
nah, he
yeah. He
doing big
doing like
things
a
for
little
sure.
Oakland. He doing an Oakland and the city tour, right? Because I know
Yeah,
I saw it and he's performing at Complex or whatever. Yeah. So
yeah. The energy look really
yeah,
dope in there too. Like really, really good
yeah.
energy for
Yeah,
sure.
and you look at he does his little quick little videos on Instagram when he's talking. I'm like, yeah, he gives off very like inspirational vibes too.
Yeah,
Um, you know, so I think that definitely helps because it adds more character to what he's doing.
yeah,
He's just not
definitely.
a dude trying to make a party song. He's actually trying to, uplift people. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yep, I
so
agree.
go though. So let me find out. Well, if a song comes out of you two working together, I want to be the first to hear it. So
Nah, for sure, for sure.
cool, man. Cool. So yeah, man. I know you got things to do, but is there anything else you wanna leave us with?
Oh man, I would just say, stay tuned. If you're not following me, you can follow me on Instagram. It's at Dez_Mac. That's DEZ_MAC. Uh, yeah, man. And again, I'm on all platforms. YouTube, subscribe, like, comment. But man, more than anything,
Yeah.
follow your
Yeah.
passion and stay positive.
Yeah, most def. And I want to thank all y'all for joining us with Trap Talks, where we talk about the intersection of tech and culture and, make it relatable, right? Tech is bigger than tech people work behind a computer, right? You got people like Dez Mac who are artists, they have to think about how we're using this technology,
For
not
real.
just necessarily to push my music, but to push the message that we're trying to put out. How can we use it to our advantage, versus our disadvantage, right? So want to thank all y'all for joining us. This ain't the last time, but this is definitely the first time. But come back and join us. Follow us on social everywhere at either Trap Talks or Trap Talks 2040. And I have all the links down below. Hit that subscribe button. So peace out.
Now, hey, and one more thing, man. I wanted to give a huge shout out to you, man, for having me on here, man. I really appreciate it, man. For real. I appreciate you,
No doubt,
for real,
bro.
man.
No doubt. Like I said, I'm glad to have this interview before you get famous. So we always
For
gonna speak
surely,
it. We
man.
always gonna speak it in existence.
Man, most
All
def.
right.
Glad to be on a podcast before it blow up.
Trap Talks.
Oh,
Peace out.